As I delve deeper into the temple of FHA, I find that each chamber reflects not just the physical journey, but the inner growth that accompanies it. Today, Jamie Miller's talk on the art of conscious communication echoed through the temple like a call to action. His words emphasize the transformative power of thought, intentional dialogue, and the very essence of connection and influence. It was in a secluded chamber adorned with intricate carvings of interwoven patterns that I uncovered Aurelie's nexus. The fragment lay nestled within a spiral of symbols, each representing a facet of communication, empathy, clarity, and intention. Retrieving it felt like piecing together a lost part of myself, a reminder that the bridges we build through the word can lead to boundless opportunities. With Aurelie's nexus now in hand, Jamie's insights felt all the more profound. Communication is not just a tool, it is the thread that binds the fragments of prosperity together. Inspired by his wisdom, I press on, knowing that every conversation, every connection is a step closer to unlocking the full potential for the token of prosperity.
And now to the temple stage, Jamie Miller.
I'd love to go networking and ask someone, like if they ask me, what do you do? And I ask them, is communication important? And they go off on a tangent like she did about that. That would be amazing. Okay, so before I get started sharing a whole load of communication with you guys, I'm not gonna do a bunch of hand raising, but just humor me just for this one question, just with some energy. Show of hands, how many of you, like me, believe your ability to communicate is critical for what you do for a living? Look around the room, you'll notice something interesting, every hand is up. Now, you can all shout out, and obviously we don't have a mic going around there, but before I start teaching you guys communication skills, what benefits would any of you come up with to be better in your communication? Just shout out some answers. More loans. Any others? Better relationships. Retention. Okay, who wants to get more loans in life? All right, so the better you're at your communication, the more money you're gonna make, correct? Okay. Reputation, trust, credibility, all these things are very important, yes? All right, the fact that I was on, well, not this stage, all right, the same room, all right? Do you guys have to know anything about me to feel like I've got these things? Or do you all have faith in Empire that I'm invited a second year back that I must have these things? So what is it? You have to know stuff about me, or we all have faith in the organizers? We got faith. Okay, I'm using this as an example so far. Has anyone noticed a theme so far about my talk? Questions. Wonderful. All right. Because you all said you have faith, I'm going to make it a lesson very quickly. I don't need to share certain things. I don't need to share. I'm not allowed to show you the full letter. I'm a self-confessed nobody. Outside this room, you ask, do you know Jamie Miller? They're going to say no. I'm invited to speak at the Pentagon on March 6th. All right, who can agree that if you were invited to the Pentagon, would that make you feel like somewhat of an expert in your field? Here's the lesson. I didn't need to share that with you. I don't need to share with you. This is what my phone looks like at the end of a session that I do virtually. All right, and Sean Kaplan, just for a lesson, yesterday, I'm an abundance guy. How many text messages did you end up getting? 119. Who gave you the advice? You did. Thank you. All right, so I don't need to share a video of the guy.
I gotta meet this dude. I gotta talk to him. And I don't even need to really, I don't need to know your prices or whatever. I need you on my team.
I don't need to share stuff like that. I don't need to share, I take my clients, loan officers, away to Milan, Italy to go and watch AC Milan playing at the San Siro Stadium. I don't need to share, I feel like that's blasphemy for anyone who's with a different brokerage, but that's what my phone looks like with smiley faces for my EXP clients. I don't need to share that I help realtors do 7 deals in 7 days. I don't need to share I helped a client do a $7.95 million listing. I don't need to share any of these things with you. Oh, that I like sharing. My mum loves Oprah, and I shared the stage with someone who was on Oprah Winfrey's couch, so that was always a nice thing. I don't need to share any of this stuff, and I get to the first lesson with you guys. All right, how many of you have ever been told, overshare? Who should be doing all the talking? When you're selling, who should do all the talking? Us or the client? The client. So here's a lesson. If you start your dialogue with someone, let me start by telling you, you're the one doing all the talking. All right, if I teach you guys a one-off question, you can ask someone, they start selling themselves on your services, no matter what you do, and they start selling themselves, and you only ask them one question, you haven't shared anything, who would say that was a worthwhile talk to listen into and you'll be happy? I'll make a promise you, I will teach you that question. Oh, I said I was going to teach some fresh stuff. If I was to put you on the spot now, guys, what is one thing that I've done so far differently than every speaker so far? I'm sitting down. All right, I'm going to make this lesson for speakers. All right, there's what's called building rapport. When you're sat down in a body language approach, I am one of you. You're feeling like we are the same. We're both sat down. The second I stand up and I start teaching you stuff, do you feel a sense of I become the expert all of a sudden? Okay, so that's a new thing. Is there importance in body language if you're in someone's home and you're trying to sell a couple, and for instance, as a man, you don't want to stand next to the wife, you want to stand next to the husband and things of that nature. Are those all important things in body language? Okay, I love teaching. There are certain things you can be doing in body language that really elevate your chances of getting business. You can even get someone to nod their head. Yes, Bill, communication is very important. Okay, the only person who ruined it for us was Bill Clinton, because he goes, I did not have sex with that woman. All right, I'll absolutely cooperate with the authorities. If someone ever says the words, I did not, and their head's doing this, they are lying right to your face, all right? Now, I'm 47 years of age. Does everyone know, what movie is this? And what is Daniel being taught here? When he's taught wax on, wax off, wasn't he like, Mr. Miyagi, what has this got to do with karate? By the end of the movie, did it have everything to do with karate? By the end of my talk, you're going to have a bunch of wax on, wax off moments. All right, and here's why. All right, it's not that kind of workshop. No, here's why. I'm going to share with you how I get my kids to do things I want them to do without telling them to do it. I may even share a slide where I helped a male client of mine get a date on Bumble using 3 questions. And it's the same verbiage that you're going to use to get clients, whether you're a loan officer, whatever you're doing. Can we appreciate communication doesn't just affect our professional existence, it affects our personal lives. I'm going to prove to you, you can't be an amateur at home and suddenly the pro of sales in your professional existence. Just as an extra tip as well, have you noticed, where am I standing right now? Where have most speakers been standing? On the stage. Understand, if you stand in one spot, only one part of the room is getting all your energy. I'm trying to make it extra lessons so some of the speakers also can pick up stuff when you're walking around the room. Now, I have been told last night, we had a joke, I've been told I can swear it sounds polite. My former British self, I can swear, I will not swear whilst I'm up here. I am now a proud American, yay America. I even drive a truck, yes. Now that is interesting. Watch this, I said I drive a truck, what did you all then do? Laugh. I call it predictability. I call it the Golden Girls strategy. Who have I taught this week so far about the Golden Girls strategy? What it is, it's saying something where you know what the right reaction is. How many of you feel you've ever been in front of a potential client and they've done something body language-wise or tonality-wise and you're like, I don't know if it's going to be a good fit, and you've still brought them on? All right, have you heard speakers say, don't bring on headache clients? I'm here to share with you, there's not 1 cent worth earning to bring on somebody into your life that doesn't vibe with you, doesn't get you. Does that make sense from that standpoint? Yeah. I am now a proud American. It has not turned me into Captain America. I haven't even looked at the clock. I've got 17 minutes left. Can we agree I can't teach you everything in 17 minutes? Can we just set that up for success? All right. I tell you what, if I have time at the end, I will read someone's mind. Joe, just a test for the room. Stand up a second, Joe. Did I read your mind yesterday? Yeah. Okay, who saw me read John's from Empire's Mind last year? Okay, great. So for there's a lot of you who want new people. That's great. If I can read someone's mind, I will do that. I promise. Time. Now, I can't do justice to this lesson. All right. If you were not here last year, if you've never seen me speak before, stand up. If you've never seen me speak before, stand up. I'm going to have you all yell the answer out to this. I get better in my ability to communicate. I get better in my ability to sell because I teach, all right? So I'm going to come here and I'm going to teach you guys a bunch of stuff. Let's say I share something with you today and you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. Let me get my notebook out. Let me put my phone, the notes in my phone. In one word, very quickly, what should you all be doing to get better at something? No, but, so you all said practice. I heard one person. Okay. Do you remember Desmond said, you can all sit down, thank you, I proved my point. I can't do justice to this lesson. Do you remember Desmond yesterday saying we don't listen, we're hearing, listening? All right, I just proved in front of a room, you're not listening. All right, here's why. I clearly said I get better because I teach. You even heard Barry say, teach others. Who understands I didn't invent that concept? You do get better at things in life when you teach it to other people. Okay, I teach you something today, you want to get better at it, teach it to others. You'll get way more opportunities in life to teach it to other people than you ever will waiting to practice something. Even Kyle said earlier about teach. All right, you're doing it for you more than you are for them, all right, as a personal standpoint for yourselves. Now, building rapport, all right, I feel like Kyle stole some of my thunder. I even said I'm a little bit disappointed he was going before me today, all right, but he talked about building rapport. Does anyone remember the first question? Paul is not allowed to answer this, or Joy, all right? Like, they're not allowed to answer this. What was the first question that came out of my mouth that got every hand in this room raised? Anyone remember? That was part of it. Okay, great. Here's the good news. You do not need a British accent. You don't need to use the same 3 words that I use. If I want to make someone the same as me, consciously in my communication, I'm going to use the words, you like me, in my question. All right? If you don't know someone, go generalize. Are you like me? Do you value your time? What do you think everyone's going to answer? Yes. Are you like me? Do you value honesty? All right? The person's going to say yes. They're not going. I've never had someone say, no, please lie right to my face. I love it when someone does that. All right? So you want to make someone the same. Now, how many of you want to bring on clients in one meeting? Okay, the more specific you get with your rapport build to what you do for a living, the more inclined they're going to work with you in one meeting. For me, it's are you like me? Do you value your ability to communicate? All right. If you're a loan officer, it could be something like, are you like me? Do you understand we're not all created equally? All right. And that's a great starting point if your rates are higher than others. Are you guys getting that stuff? So do the you like me. What I'm about to share with you now is an extreme version of you like me. I love this. It never gets old. Monica is a client. I put smiley faces after my client's name. Scott, who I spoke to last night, said he loves that. Good afternoon, exclamation mark, space, upside down question mark. Her ending, upside down question mark, thank you, period, upside down question mark. All right. You've all probably learned mirroring. You're probably not doing it at this extreme of a level for yourself. And doing what I'm about to teach you will turn 1 out of 10 conversion into 3 or 4 out of conversion. Why? Because it's very subliminal and subtle. They're going to be like, I don't know why, but this person gets me more than other people. My response, I had to Google how you do an upside down question mark. But she wrote good afternoon, exclamation mark. I wrote good afternoon, exclamation mark, space, upside down question mark. My ending was exactly the same. Do any of you place cold calls? We just had Luke up here talking about call the leads. If you place a cold call, do yourself a favor. Wait a moment to see how they answer the phone. If they're a hey person, say hey. All right, if they're a hello person, say hello. If they say children, don't say kids. Are you guys with me on this stuff? All right. Now, these are not my kids. Just when I Google image unhappy looking kids, this is what came up. All right. How many of you like me do you have kids? Okay, great. Do you ever want your kids, for example, to clean their rooms, make their beds, all right? Do they want to be told to do that? No, your clients don't want to be told anything either. So this is a wax on, wax off moment. If I want my kids to clean their rooms, the caliber of the questions you ask dictates the outcome. If I go, kids, do you like it when dad's happy? Thankfully, my kids at this stage still will be like, yes, I like it when you're happy. If I say, what could you be doing right now that would make me happy? My kids could respond, give you a hug. And I'm like, well, you're right, I would make me happy, but I want them to clean their rooms and make their beds. So watch this. It's more specific. What could you be doing around the house at this moment in time that would make that happy? And then they would say, cleaning our rooms, making our beds. And I get to say the magic words, I agree with you. What I teach people to do is go into a conversation. Ferris, yesterday, I shared this with you, Ferris, and you seem to have an epiphany. All a sale is, in its rawest form, is that we agree to think around the same thing the same way. All right, does that give you some clarity? All a sale is do we agree to think around something the same way? You're more gonna elevate your chances of getting the sale. LA Fitness Guy, some of you might be LA Fitness Guy. Do you guys have competitors in the world? Okay, so watch this, do not be LA Fitness Guy. I used to go up to LA Fitness on East Colonial, and for giggles, I would go up to the sales staff after a workout and say, you know what, I'm thinking of checking out Planet Fitness down the street, just to see what they would respond. And they'd go, oh, Planet Fitness, they don't have the swimming pool, they don't have the basketball court, they don't have the racquetball court, they don't have the aerobics room with the punching bags. And then I would turn around to them and say, well, now you got me thinking I'll pay too much money for my membership here. Why, everyone, based on their response, would I be thinking I'm paying too much money? I don't use any of those things. So the next time you have someone where they're saying they're calling up somebody else, if you start being LA Fitness Guy, they might turn around to you most likely and say, well, if I don't want this, can I get it for less? Do you understand where I'm going with this? So you do not want to, a lot of people get guilty of being LA Fitness Guy. They've got these unique selling propositions and they want to tell everyone this is what we provide. If you do it in the form of a statement, you're basically crossing your fingers, hoping and praying that that's what resonates. Anytime you feel compelled to make a statement, tweak it into a question, and then you're going to extract value. Does that make sense as a lesson for you guys? All right, so women, you are better salespeople than men. I've shared this with others this weekend, all right, Tammy inclusive of that. I put it down to emotional intelligence. You've heard Desmond and other people talk about listening. What I teach people is, what do you get to listen to? All right, but you want to get people to an emotional state. All right, one way you know if people are emotional, here's an extra lesson for you. You want to be waiting to make sure they're struggling to find the words to describe something to you, on how they would feel about something. If they just answer very quickly, all right, it means they're still in a logical state. All right, so you want to be observant of how emotional is this person. Because if they're emotional, you can ask for the higher rates. You can justify things. If they're logical, you're going to have a tougher time with that. I didn't learn this till I was 29. I know having the accent might make me sound like I'm really intelligent, but whoever asks the questions steers a conversation. All right, so you want to be cognizant of the questions you're asking. There are bad questions. Here is an example of a bad question to ask someone you've never met before you're trying to sell. How are you? All right, terrible question. All right, if you ask me how am I, I'm going to say, do you really care? You're going to say yes, and then I'm going to go on a tangent about my whole day. Don't beat yourself up if you ask how are you, but just understand it's not going to take the conversation in the direction that you want it to go. Now, have any of you ever been told by a seller, I think my house is worth X? I know you're loan officers, but could you imagine, okay, what do you think most realtors ask at that moment in time? I think my home is worth X. What do you think they ask? How'd you come up with that price, right? Okay, think about what you've just done. You've asked someone who's not the expert to justify something. They're going to go off on a tangent. Are you going to be in agreement with that person? No. So you're giving yourself a tougher time of it. There are better plays that you can do that in 7 minutes 58, I can't teach everything around what you can do, but there are better plays, better questions that you can ask someone when they make a statement like that to you. Now, I added this as a new slide. How many of you have ever been asked, what's the rates? Okay. And I've talked to people where they will share this as the rates. Hopefully you love this. Hopefully I'm one of the speakers where you're like, oh, I learned something here. Multiple choice questions are the best way, psychology-wise, to steer a conversation. Next time someone says, what are the rates? Say, I'll absolutely share with you the rates. Just very quickly, do you care just about the rates, or do you also care about the caliber of the loan officer you're using? Do you need me to repeat that? Okay. What are the rates? I'll absolutely share with you the rates. Just very quickly, do you care just about the rates? Or do you also care about the caliber of the loan officer you're using? If they say they care just about the rates, do you want them as a client? All right. If they care about the caliber of the loan officer they're using, can you see where you now can steer that conversation in a direction to show them where they can value you more based on you asking them more questions? This is me. I'm going to make this applicable to you guys, but this is a wax on, wax off moment. If you're a single fella in here, you're going to take a snapshot of this slide, because this is how I helped a male client get a date on Bumble using 3 questions. All right? First question I helped him come up with. If you could pick one characteristic that you want when choosing to go on a date with someone, what would that be? The young lady responded to him, chivalry. With my help, my client goes, I believe chivalry is important. Why did you pick that characteristic? She goes, well, quite frankly, there are not too many men with that. All right, so with my help, my client came up. So if I'm able to illustrate chivalry is important in the way that I treat someone, clear, specific question, would you be up for meeting up? Would that feel like you've met someone rare? She goes, I like your response. The answer is yes. My client got a date. Did he tell her a bunch of things about himself? No. He asked what's important to her, why it's important to her, and how she would feel as a result of him delivering on that. Could you turn around to someone and say, I'll absolutely share with you the rates. Do you care more about the rates or care about the caliber? I care about the caliber. What would be one characteristic that you value more than anything when choosing a loan officer? It would be this. Oh, why did you pick that? And then they're going off on a tangent. How would it feel to know that I can 100% deliver on that? All right? I can get people to an emotional state into tears. How many of you feel like you're a loving parent? If I had time, I could get any one of you on this stage into tears based on legacy for your kids, based on asking you 3 or 4 questions based on what, why, and how. All right? I'm sometimes fascinated because is it a very simple lesson, what I just taught? I sometimes find it perplexing that we don't get taught this stuff in school. All right? And I get financial advisors, different people who have been in business for years, they're like, Jamie, I've never learned this. That's why it never gets old for me to teach this stuff from the stage. Who would like to learn the one-off question you can ask people when they start selling themselves? Anyone care to remember the second question that I asked that got the whole room sharing out? More loans, more money, more retention. If you were here last year too, you're welcome to shout it out, but I bet you no one remembers the second question. Okay, so here's the question. You can use it for your own business, or you turn around to someone and say, before I share about myself and my services, I know I can help you, what benefits would you come up with for having X, Y, Z? And I promise you, you'll be shocked by some of the answers you get. All right, they might say, oh, you're not aware about this. I've already spoken to someone else who's used your services, and they were singing your praises. Can you talk yourself out of business? Okay, if you start with the what's in it for you, benefits for you first, all right, you're less likely to talk yourself out. They're less likely to say, I don't see what the other people saw in this person. They're just talking a lot. So ask someone what the benefits are. This is it working in dating. I can see I'm going, I've got 3 minutes, 40 seconds left. All right, have I been teaching you guys a lot off of stage, a lot of things? Yes. Okay, real quick, if you're sending an email, just like Desmond said, no one likes long emails. The only thing an email should be selling is, can I get someone on the phone call? If you're on a phone call, the only thing you should be selling at that time is, can I get someone face-to-face or virtually? All right, and I teach prospecting. There's lots better plays than, hi, I'm so-and-so with so-and-so. Click, all right? I love teaching this. The only time you'll hear me say these words is when I'm teaching people not to say them. I want. Remove the words I want from your vocab. Why? No one cares. My own daughter wanted a cell phone from me when she was 8. She goes, Dad, I want a cell phone. I said, no. If I don't care what my own daughter wants, what chance do we have complete strangers caring what we want? If you want a different play than I want, you do something like this. Hey guys, if you were me, would you want in 30 minutes to teach people a bunch of things and have people saying that was a glorious talk? Who would want that? Okay, did I say I want, or did I put you in my shoes? Okay, Ferris, we talked about if you were me. If you were me, and I even shared where it came from with my ex-wife who couldn't say the word sorry. All right, so, if you were me is a great way to garner understanding. There's 3 things, if you do this in your conversations, you will get a predictable outcome. First one is gather information. The best way to gather information, ask questions of people. The second thing is garnering understanding. No one ever wants to feel sold. If you can get them to see where you're coming from, They won't feel sold. And the third thing, I call it predictability. It's saying things and asking questions that you know what the right responses will be for you to know that you can work with this person. I'm going to teach you, have any of you ever seen the movie Focus with Will Smith, Margot Robbie? Yeah. Okay. Have you ever heard of neurolinguistic programming? Okay. I'm about to teach you something. Use it, ethics, integrity. All right? The more you say the word buy, the more inclined the person in front of you that you're selling is going to buy something from you. Here's how it looks. I'm going a bit quick based on time. Start your dialogue. Buy at the end of this meeting. All right? You're telling their brain they're going to buy something from you. When? At the end of the meeting. Then the next, you say, by the way, has anyone ever shared this with you before? By chance, is this new information? All right? Did you notice by this spot here where we can do this for you? And then the final by now, can you see where this is a great service? Their brain at the start is hearing buy at the end, and the final buy they hear is buy now. Believe me, this stuff works. Have any of you ever studied NLP? Jay, you have? Okay. That's like level 400 in sales, and I am going to end with 2 words. The sweetest little word on the planet, all right, is the word yet. You want to consciously add the word yet when you're selling, and halfway through a meeting with someone, you turn around to them and say, have you heard everything you need to hear from me yet to feel confident to move forward? If they answer yes, it makes that seamless call to action. You're great, the next step's very simple. If they say no, it doesn't end your dialogue. Have you heard what you need to hear yet? No? Still terrific. What would be one thing specifically that you would need to hear so you can feel that sense of confidence? The other thing is your self-talk. I'm at like 12 seconds. I feel like I'm going to go a little bit over. All right. I can keep going over a little bit. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. I'm going to end with the word believe. Who's heard believe said up on this stage by other people? All right. Who's seen that on the back of my phone, it says Ted Lasso, believe, all right, of all things. Believe is the most powerful word on the planet in sales, all right, but you've got to consciously use it externally to someone. Everyone in the world will do what they believe. They will go to a place of worship every week on what they believe. They will spend a fortune on going to college. Rollins College, close by, is a liberal arts education that people are paying $300,000 for, all right, based on what they believe, okay? So, watch this. Look, I've gone to a new place in life. Have any of you seen the movie Troy? Any of you seen that? Okay. Do you remember the scene when Brad Pitt, the little kid, goes, I wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now. And Brad Pitt says, that's why no one will remember your name. All right. I had Tanner earlier before my talk say, Jamie, what's something you've learned new? All right. I've changed the goalposts of my life, and my ideal is people. All right. I'm very thankful that, like, this year alone, I booked 32 more talks from January that I would never have done last year because I tried to be an example on time. I'm looking to really make an impact in the world. Who has actually heard enough from me before even I got on stage and they've heard what I'm doing? Tell me, what did you say earlier? No-brainer? Didn't you say the word you'd pay way more? Yes. Okay. Guys, I'm doing something that's pretty much, it might as well be zero in, and it's more about your kids and your kids' kids, right? Just a quick show of hands. Who believes that if you actually had me in your life for a lifetime, you would indeed get more loans, get more out of life in communication? If you could get me way more than half an hour, and raise your hand, keep your hands up if you believe that. Okay. When I stick my cell phone number up, what should you immediately do? Text me, I agree with you. Now, here's the deal. Anyone who texts me Empire and your name, all right, in the next 10 minutes, I promise you, you're going to love me. Anyone who waits beyond the 10 minutes, you'll still love me, just not as much as the people who do it in the next 10 minutes. Do you know, it's funny, as I'm up here for the second time, my whole goal was to be, obviously, to do the three-peat, right? Because you're in front of a great room put on by the best company in an amazing setting. Right, just curious, because they're in the room. Did I do sufficiently to earn a third time up on this stage? Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.